Hello, and welcome. This is the first video for Introductory Biology, in which we will define biology and the characteristics of life. We will also provide an overview of what you can expect to learn over the course of this series. Our learning objectives for this video are to define biology and compare it to other sciences, identify and describe the properties of living things, and describe the levels of organization among living things. First, let's define science. Science comes from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. Science refers to knowledge about the natural world and involves the investigation of things that we can observe and measure. This encompasses many things, including biology, chemistry, and physics. Biology is a science of living things and covers an incredibly diverse array of fields, such as molecular biology, which investigates biology at the molecular level and often involves the study of DNA, and the study of all the different organisms on Earth, including plants, animals, and microbes. If we take another step back, it also includes how all of these organisms interact with one another and their environment, which is the study of ecology. To understand biology, we must also understand the other sciences. For example, a lot of our understanding of biology is based on what we know about how atoms and molecules work in chemistry. Physics defines the laws of nature and provides a basis for both chemistry and biology. As mentioned, biology is the study of life. If we break down the word itself, we see that bio means life, and logi or ogi means the study of. But what are the characteristics that define life? You will likely hear slight variations from different sources, but we generally include having organization and order, the ability to use energy and perform metabolism, growth, development, and reproduction, adaptation and evolution, sensitivity and responsiveness, and homeostasis. All living organisms have some form of organization. Even the simplest unicellular organism must have organization within its single cell, and multicellular organisms have many cells that are arranged together. Furthermore, there is an order to the organization. We begin with the atom, which is the smallest unit that can retain unique properties. These atoms come together in a specific manner to form different molecules. Molecules can be combined to form bigger macromolecules, which in turn will form the organelles that make up cells. Cells are the smallest living unit, and are themselves arranged into tissues, and tissues into organs. These organs form an organ system, which make up an individual organism. We will learn about macromolecules in Lecture 2, and organelles and cells in Lecture 3 and 4. There is also organization and order at the ecological scale. All the individuals of the same species will make up a population. All the living species in a habitat form a community. Adding in the non-living components creates an ecosystem. All of the ecosystems make up the biosphere, which for us is the Earth. We will learn more about ecology in our last lecture, Lecture 15. Energy use and metabolism refers to how all living organisms require energy to perform essential activities. How each organism obtains energy can vary, but the energy itself is generally used in the form of adenosine triphosphate, abbreviated as ATP. The energy is used by our cells to work and keep us alive, and to do various activities such as moving around and using our brains to study. We will learn more about energy and ATP in Lecture 5, how we obtain ATP through cellular respiration in Lecture 6, and how plants obtain energy through photosynthesis in Lecture 7. Growth, development, and reproduction are all intertwined. All cells reproduce by duplicating their genetic material and then dividing it equally between the two new cells that are formed. Cells can grow in both size and number, and the increase in cell number is what allows multicellular organisms to grow. This video shows cells dividing in a developing fruit fly larva. The genetic material is important because the genes direct how the organism grows and develops. We will learn more about cellular reproduction in Lecture 8 and 9, and how genes are inherited in Lecture 10. We will also learn more about DNA, our genetic material, and how it is regulated and how it forms proteins in Lecture 11 and 12. We will touch on biotechnology in Lecture 13. All living organisms are capable of adapting to better fit their environment. Adaptation in the context of evolution will generally take place over several generations. In the case of unicellular organisms such as bacteria, this can occur on a much quicker timescale, which is how we can get antibiotic-resistant bacteria like MRSA. Evolution generally occurs due to random mutations. Sometimes, these mutations can increase the fitness of an individual to an environment, which would then give them a survival advantage and increase their chances of reproducing. In this case, the beneficial mutation will be more likely to be passed on to the next generation, and so on. A classic case of evolution is Darwin's finches. These finches are all very similar, but have distinct beak shapes. These different beaks allowed each of these finches to better adapt to their environment, such as by allowing them to eat more of certain types of seeds that are plentiful on their respective islands. We will learn more about evolution in Lecture 14. Sensitivity and responsiveness refer to how living organisms are sensitive to changes in both their external and internal environment and will respond accordingly. These changes or stimuli can be in the form of temperature, light, touch, chemicals, and more. The response to the stimuli can be positive or negative. For example, a plant might respond to light by growing towards it, which would be a positive response because it is trying to go towards the stimulus. A roly-poly would respond to touch by curling into itself, which would be a negative response because it is trying to get away from the stimulus. Homeostasis is a key aspect of life and refers to the ability of living organisms to maintain a stable internal environment. This includes parameters such as body temperature, blood glucose, blood pH, and more. All of these parameters must be maintained within a narrow, stable range for an organism to live. A classic case of homeostasis is how our body regulates temperature. We generally maintain an internal temperature of about 37 degrees Celsius, or 98 degrees Fahrenheit. If the environment is too hot, we will sweat to cool down and maintain our internal body temperature. If the environment is too cold, we will shiver to generate heat. Maintaining this temperature is important because many of our bodily functions work best at this temperature. One last thing I'd like to cover in this video is the hierarchy and classification of life. Taxonomy refers to our system for naming and classifying species using Latin. It starts with the broadest category, domain, which is divided into 3 categories: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. It becomes more specific as we go down to kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. You can see the evolutionary relationship between some species in each of the 3 domains in this phylogenetic tree. Phylogeny is the study of the evolutionary history of and the relationship between different organisms. Bacteria and archaea cover prokaryotes, while all eukaryotes belong to the domain eukarya. This star at animals shows that we as humans are found at that branch of the phylogenetic tree. If we zoom in even closer, we would see even more branches representing different phylums, classes, and so on. Humans would be in the domain eukarya, and specifically we are the species known as Homo sapiens. This is the end of Lecture 1.1. In this video, we learned that biology is the study of life, and the characteristics of life include organization, order, energy use and metabolism, growth, development, and reproduction, adaptation and evolution, sensitivity and responsiveness, and homeostasis. We learned that life is organized into different levels, from the smallest atom to the encompassing biosphere. You should also now have an overview of the remainder of the course, and when we will go into some of these aspects of life in more detail. In the next video, we will discuss the scientific method.